answer that question, why are we in the state that we're in, we can then start looking at what went wrong. But we can only have that discussion if we know our history. Let me explain why. If we don't know our history, then we will think that we came out of the African jungle somewhere, and therefore any progress from the African jungle is progress. Does that make sense? Now, only if you know your history will you know that's not true. History relevant. Problem 24 in the Rhine Papyrus, by which the problem is solved by means of an unknown quantity, aha. This is the earliest example of algebraic procedure. Right, did we know then that black people invented algebra? There's the proof. And therefore, if people knew their history, if people knew that their history was relevant, then they wouldn't want to be trying to aspire to be somebody else.
That's right, that's right.
Right, the calibration of the Karnak water clock. Right, let me explain this. Right, what's going on here? There's a water clock where if you look at the inside of it, we've got it divided up into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 months, right? And then at certain points of the month, the days get longer and shorter. Does that make sense? And therefore, the calibration of the holes is different. So each hole is 1 hour. So you get it? So when you fill it, there's your first hour, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, 10th, 11th. You follow me? And then by the time it runs out, 12 hours. So we've got 12 hours of the night is what this actually represents. Now, the idea of the hour, that's an African concept. We invented that. The concept of time is an African concept. We invented that. So we've got the concept of numbers and algebra. We've now got the concept of time. And she represents. Now, the idea of the hour, that's an African concept. We invented that. The concept of time is an African concept. We invented that. So we've got the concept of numbers and algebra. We've now got the concept of time. And then when you put the two concepts together, you can then start mapping the heavens. And mapping the heavens gives you the notion of the year. Now, this is important because this is on the, what they call it, ceiling of a monument called the Temple of Dendera. And on the Temple of Dendera, let's look at some details we see here. Here we see what's clearly Sagittarius. See that? See this? Leo. See that? What else can we see? 2 fishes. Pisces. Yes? And then we can then go on pointing out this or that, yeah? Now what's the really interesting one? This one right here. Yes? Cancer. But it's not a crab, it's a dung beetle. Because of course, Europe is what turned it into a crab because they don't have dung beetles. The fact that that's a dung beetle, proof, yes, Africans came up with this. And this concept here, the 12 signs of the zodiac becomes the 12 months of the year. And then later religions will turn it into the 12 tablets of Gilgamesh, which is what the Sumerians were running with. The 12 labors of Heracles is what the Greeks were running with, you follow me? And then certain religions then turn it into 12 tribes of this, 12 disciples of that. Are we feeling this?
Yes.
Right, then we have, you know the whole thing about us above, so below? Right, let me explain this. When Christopher Columbus was running up his mouth about having discovered the Americas, a Turkish admiral called P.T.A.H realized then, as most of the Islamic world did, Columbus is a fraud. And my man didn't just say Columbus is a fraud, he proved Columbus is a fraud. And the way he did it is that he assembled maps that go all the way back to the Alexandrian period of Egypt. And then once he assembled those maps, he then published the composite map. Does that make sense? Now can you see that's the coast of Africa? Where's this? That's Brazil, surely. Where's this? Mexico. These islands here, where are they? The Caribbean. So here we see South America, Brazil and so on, has already been mapped. Are we feeling this? Mexico and those places have already been mapped. Now you'll see that the map tears at this point, right? And then the research went to a cartographer at the University of New Hampshire. The cartographer's name was Professor Charles Hapgood. And then Hapgood and his students, they worked on this map to work out where was the geodetic center of the map. That makes sense? Because the map's torn. So you have to use what's there to work out where the center of the map would be. That makes sense? Have a guess where the center of the map is. It is Africa. It's the Egyptian-Nubian border. There's a scholar called Naim Akbar, and he's one of our best psychologists. And he studied ancient Egyptian concepts and realized that the Egyptians had not just worked out advanced ideas in psychology. Their ideas were so advanced that modern psychology is not caught up with where they were at. That makes sense?
Yeah.
Well, let me explain it. Here we've got some Egyptian concepts of the soul. Now, let me introduce the discussion. If I was to deal with what makes a human being, most of us would say, well, if you cut your arm off, you're still you. If you cut your second arm off, you're still you. Cut your legs off, you're still you. So there comes a point where it's not you. And where it's not you is when you lose your personality. That's what most people would think. Meaning that a human being is part physical, part personality. Or to use the Descartesian sense, part mind, part body. Now when Descartes said that, everyone said, yeah, wicked idea. Not realizing that this was about to be dug up. And when this was dug up, they found out that the Egyptians divided people into Ka, Ba, Kaibit, Ab, Kat, Sahu, Ku. That makes sense?
Yeah.
So what? Once you know that the Ka is the person's spirit, that's one aspect of a person. Ba, that's the person's personality, that's the second aspect of a person. Kaibit, this is the person's shadow, that's the third aspect of a person. Ab, that's the person's heart, that's the seat of consciousness. I mean, from a point, conscience, because that's what gets heavy when you do something wrong. Then you've got the Kat, that's your physical body, that's what stays right here and is recycled with all the elements like everything else. Then you've got the Sahu, which is in the heavens, your double. And then you've got your Ku, which is the heart of the double. Does that make sense? Now, can you see that's blowing mind and body out of the water? Now, this is the point. Once we accept that a human being is all of these elements, yeah, therefore spirituality has a scientific purpose. And that scientific purpose is to unify these different selves into a coherent one. Now we have a working definition of mental illness. Mental illness is where these are not coordinated. Does that make sense? Now who came up with this idea? Us, thousands of years ago. And we can
writing in life, to write your own language with your own writing came from you. It's almost impossible to do that. This is why Europe, they don't have their own writing. Yeah, yes, you see. Even the Greek alphabet is not from Greeks. Yes. Even what you call a Roman alphabet, A, B, C, D, is not from Rome. It's not their own invention. Now we call that A, B, C, or A, B, C. Even, doesn't mean even what? Why you say A, with the meaning of A or B, came from where? Doesn't mean what? I mean, why does that mean nothing? Because we came from somebody else. Yeah, it's meaningful for them, but when you copy, you drop the meaning. It became just A, B, C. So I will, at the same time, they say Africa is the cradle of humanity. That means as Homo sapiens, as Homo, that's physically, biologically speaking. But at the same time, if the Homo sapiens start in Africa, so he has a brain, has a thinking, he questions the cosmos himself, what is life, what is death, what am I to do. So that thing starts in Africa too, with Homo sapiens. You don't just live like that in a bush. It has a question because you have the same brain even now. So the same universe, the same nature. So basically the same questions. The answer can change, but you have basically the same question because you have the same equipment and you have the same universe. So Africa is not just the cradle of many things, mathematics, but I will show that Africa is also the cradle of a writing system. This usually, we don't talk that too much about that. Because to have your own script, to write your own language, it's almost impossible to do that. Even Russian alphabet is not their alphabet. Yeah, it's a Greek alphabet. But the Greek alphabet is not from Greece. It's from Phoenicia. Phoenician's alphabet is not from Phoenician people either. You see? This is a known, but we never focus on that. But you have a script everywhere on the continent, not just the Nan Valley, Meroitic, Nubia, Somalia script, Kemet, but everywhere on the continent. But we don't do research enough. Yes. Because people doesn't want to do that. They know that is the most difficult thing to do, so we don't want to study that. If African people don't study, we don't study either. They must do their own job. So we must study. It's very difficult to invent a script in the world. It's almost impossible to do that. It's more easier to borrow. Yes. It's more easier. It's the most difficult to do. So I will try to this is why my lecture is Africa is the cradle of writing. Cradle of writing. Yes, you just go quickly. So, yes, like Anderson and Manu's brother who lectured before me, in fact, we never make separation between Kemet and Nubia. You see, they're almost the same. They're the same country. It was the vision from antiquity. For Greece, for Greek people, for them, the Nile Valley was one valley, including Kemet and Nubia. It was the same country for them. But from the 17th century, Western scholarship makes separation. Because Nubia can belong to black people, to Negroes, but Kemet is kind of Mediterranean brown race, Amid, something like that. Because it's difficult in my mind to give pyramid or obelisk mummies to slaves, you see. So they changed the paradigm. Invention is Chinese. Yes. Even to print the Bible. It came from China, the printing. It was a Gutenberg who tried to print the Bible for the first time. But Europe is almost empty of invention. Of a basic. This is clear. It's not to dominate, it's not ego or ideology. It's a historical fact. Yes, you can give me the date of their invention. Name me one paper invention. Where in Rome? Where in Greece? There is no fact. So it's a question of history. Next. Yes, you can drop this so it can be more easy. So, you have Egyptian system. Yeah, you have so I'll give you the measure, the script in the word very quickly. So you have Egyptian system, is the most old system in the world. Is 3,500 BC. It's the oldest script in the world, Egyptian world. This is why we can say Egyptian, Kemet is the cradle of writing, because this is the date. There is no date like that before Kemet. Where? We want to know. So far, no. You see? So Kemet, you have their own invention. They did that. Not just a pyramid. You see, we know Kemet by pyramid, obelisk, mummies, like this, like that. But we forgot that they make the most crucial invention in the world. Yes, is writing. And this writing will give Hebrew writing, Phoenician writing, Greek writing, Roman writing, English writing, French writing. You see? If there was no Egyptian script, there will be no Greek alphabet. It's crucial. It's more than obelisk or pyramid. It's more than that. It's crucial. So it's the base of civilization, of written civilization. Not just oral civilization, the base, the foundation of a written civilization. You write your thought, you write your script, you write your Bible, you write your Octave Maxim, to write what you think, to write your philosophy, your mathematics, your science, to have this decision to write something down so it can stay from his legacy. He came from Kemet. The first to think that, you see? So it's crucial. Now, after that, this script is all kind of script. You can have, they call that sometimes a pictograph, something like that. Of course, you make design first, and then you have evolution. So anyhow, you have the one script, the Sumerian script. Is very at least 200 years after Kemet. Now in books, they want to present always Sumerian before, but even now nobody knows how to read the Sumerian script. So yes, I say, why you pretend to do that before? Maybe it's not a language. Yes, the script is not to design. The script is to represent the sound of a language. Yeah, so which language? If you don't tell me the language, just write it's the symbols. It's a sound, it's not a language, it's not a script. Script must be the representation of a language, of the sound of a language. So when I know them, I read, I know the language. Yes. But if you don't know the meaning of it, so why do you call that script even? You see? So, in fact, there is no, anyhow, they say Sumeria, but nobody knows how to read. So, okay, let's guess that is a language. Let's agree. But anyhow, it's not older than Kemet. You have a new date now. They did that themselves. Now you have in Crete, in Greece, they have their own script also, called linear A and B. You see, this one, linear A, now nobody can read that. Yes. You can read, but you don't know the language. But linear B, you can read because it's a Greek, old Greece, Mycenaean Greek. You can read that. So, but it's almost the time of the Queen Hatshepsut in Kemet. Yes, when they have an invention of a script in Greece by them, their own script, it's almost the time of Queen Hatshepsut in Kemet. She's almost late. Yeah, it's the new kingdom. So with the middle kingdom, old kingdom, and before that. So he was very young when they did that. Very young. And why Greek, they didn't use their own script? Why they didn't use their own script? So it was not effective. And they don't have a lot of documentation either. They remain, not a lot. And then you have a Greek alphabet, the so-called Greek alphabet. Greek alphabet is a borrowing from Phoenician. And you can have the date in the corner. It's very young script too, because before Homer, with the literature before Homer. You have a Greek people live before Homer with the script. What they did, they didn't know how to write. So it's lost. It was oral tradition, it's lost. But they try to write with Homer. That's mean almost 18th century BC, not before. Yes, this is a very young civilization. And it's a borrowing from Phoenicia. When we say borrowing, even when you know the Phoenician people, that's Lebanon, they have their own Bible, written by the priest called Beroz. So the name of the Bible is Saint Cognaton. So there is in their language. It's written there that our script came from Kemet. It's written. Yes, by themselves. So it's not fiction. Yeah. So this one, this script found in Sinai, and this the beginning of a Phoenician script, not in Phoenicia, Lebanon, but in Kemet. This is the writing. So what but they don't want to call that Sinaitic, they want to call it Canaanite language, you see. You don't find things in Los Angeles, but you say came from Los Angeles. This is the way they do. Yes. To make confusion, if you don't know, you believe. So this, yes, because you are very far, you can push more here to have light. Yes, more close here. So they did the chart, you see. You have Medu-Nature, I believe, Medu-Nature. You have Phoenician script, and you have Greek script. So you can draw the chart. Came from Kemet, you have the Phoenician, and Phoenician you have Hebrew, you have Greek, and even Roman, and then your age. Because the question, you say A, B, C, D, E, that means what even? You see? But when we say A, it was Aleph. It was Aleph in Phoenicia. Aleph means ox. Yes. When we say B or B in Hebrew, in Phoenicia, but in Phoenicia, when they start, the B is for beta. Bet means house. You see, yes. And you have, say, delta, gamma. So Western civilization, Romance alphabet, they just keep the first, when I say Aleph, they just keep A. When I say beta or bet, they keep just B. When I say Gimel, they just keep a G. When I say something like that, they keep just the first symbol of the word. This word doesn't mean nothing in French or in English. Yeah, we just say A, B, C, D. That means what? We don't know. Of course you don't know, because you make abbreviation. It's not A is Aleph. It's not a B, it's a beta. You make just abbreviation. This word doesn't mean no sense. You see? So even it's more poor, culturally speaking. It's more poor. Yeah, because you borrow, you don't want to be disturbed. You take the most easier thing to do. Yes, it's a borrowing. But yourself is more painful. You may do this, you make mistake, you came back. It's more painful to invent your own writing. But when you copy from me, when I copy from you, I say it's done already, the more difficult. Let me drop what is not necessary. See? This is why it's even poor. So one British guy, Taylor, 19th century, he said, look, this thing is real, because let's take M, the owl. You know that in Kemet. Here, the bird here. You see the bird. Is M in Kemet, owl. So you can show the evolution of this symbol in all script. Yeah, this is the chart. But I don't know if you see well. This is crucial, the chart. He did that. So you can see how the Egyptian symbol gives birth to all these symbols. What you call M or Nun or Arabic, like it came from this symbol. They can draw a chart, and it makes sense. Not just for one symbol, it did for most of them. So I can show you. If not, we'll drink always. We'll complaining. White supremacy. There is nobody said that in the world. Chinese, they never say white supremacy. When I say white supremacy, you imply black inferiority. It's linked. I know that they have power. They don't like you. They kill you. They do like this. But build your power. They will respect. If you cry, they say, okay, it's good for crying. Yes, they want some people who can face them. You do negative campaign. If you don't reply, they will continue. If you say, I do negative campaign, they will stop. They behave like that. They're not supreme beings. Even Mao Zedong, they say, the captain is a tiger. Is a tiger on paper. A paper tiger. It's not a real tiger. Don't be afraid. But for black became white supremacy. When Mao Zedong called that paper tiger, is a zero. I'm not afraid. They do nuclear weapons, we can do. They have satellite, we can do. They have nuclear bombs, we do the same. Yeah, so what? They send their student here. You study, you go back to China, you build. Japanese, 2 nuclear bombs. Hiroshima, Nagasaki. Destroy the country. For 1 week. Yes. In August. 1945, August. 1 week, 2 nuclear bombs. Japanese, they didn't cry. They say, okay, that's too much, maybe. So let's figure out. So they say, we must destroy the so American market. Everybody has a Toyota, Mitsubishi, Shira, yes. How you can sell, you do your car in your country, Ghana, and you bring a car, you sell in the United States, you destroy Ford, Buick, Cadillac. You must be a small country, less bigger than Dominguez Hill University. It's a 4 island, that's all. Japan. It's not big. But they said, no, look, don't cry, let's do these things. But black, they say never again. And again, it starts again. Never, when you say never again, what you do to say never again? Just a word, okay. Rhetoric, okay, you wait. We have solution, we kill you. We kill Lumumba, we put Mandela in jail, we kill King, we kill Malcolm X, we kill Black Panther, we destroy. Because in our gene to destroy. Not just you, even the nature we destroy. Even the water I drink, I destroy. Make pollution. It's our genes to destroy. It's like that. So we believe that love me. I don't love you or no, please love me. I hate you. I hate you. Do yourself. No, please, please. No, it's enough. If you want respect, you must build Africa. There is no, we must, to learn, to build study group, is not to please something. It's like, it is the spirit of African culture. Yeah, it's not to please the Queen Zinga or Askak. We must learn every day. They say that the day is short. It's just like this, you are gone. But you must learn every day. They say that in Kemet too. Learning, to study, to know, it was crucial in Kemet. This is why everything is so perfect. Because if you don't learn how you can draw Medu nature like that. They do that every day. This is why when you go to Temple Karna, it was easy for them to do. Because they did that every day, any moment they did that. You don't do just a sit and tomorrow you do. It will not fit. So, to learn, like we call that the African Study Association, study. ASCAC is a study. So we must build a program what we study really. We must study Medu nature. If you don't study Medu nature, it's difficult to build for eternity. You?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You want to speak? You too?
Only to say
You present already?
Yeah, this morning.
Ah.